Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Taking Public Transportation Around Europe. Whoop whoop. Last time I did this was just about a month ago where I went to Lyon. I have another video about that, so check that out for sure as well. But this time I'm going to Sweden. A trip that's giving me the opportunity to talk about some pretty wild updates to the European train network that you really should know about. But more on that in a sec. Anyway, first I have to get to Copenhagen, and as always, I'm bringing my work with me on the train, just vibing out, having office hours. Proper hello everybody. I'm coming to you directly from a hotel room in Copenhagen, and I'm about to visit some place that I've been wanting to see for so long, and I'm just doing a pit stop in Copenhagen. So actually I'm going to Stockholm. I have never been, although it's not really that far away. I haven't really had the time and the motivation to actually go. So when the EU reached out and asked me if I wanted to take a high-speed train to Stockholm, I said yes right away. The first part of this trip was from Aalborg to Copenhagen, where I live, to our capital in Denmark. And this route I take several times a month because there's so much of my work that happens here. So really nothing new there. So imagine my surprise when I realized that they're also going to improve that trip and cut it down to 3 hours. That's gonna save me so much time I can't even comprehend. But from now on, it's uncharted waters and I am so excited to see Stockholm. But do I appreciate this pit stop in Copenhagen? You bet, because I have something that I really want to do here. 1 second. Guys, it was pasta. It's always pasta. This plant-based carbonara from Made in Italy is so good. It's a restaurant 100% plant-based that's located in the meatpacking district, ironically. And now that I'm back at the hotel, let's hear some commotion for some travel essentials. I am forever a Go Circular girl. There's no way around it. And of course, I always bring my plastic-free lipstick from Beauty Made Easy. This is an absolute go-to. Also, this is how I am transporting my vitamins. I have B12 in this now. It's an Amarelli container in metal, and it used to have licorices, and I like to keep small treats in here as well. But right now, ta-da! It contains my vitamins. Look how nice. The next morning, I got my butt back to Copenhagen Central Station. And listen, this is one of my most guilty pleasures, but I love a little burger in the morning on a travel day. I got this little kids meal from Max, plant-based of course, and that hit the spot, clearly. According to the Greenpeace report, Get on Track, 34% of the 150 busiest flight routes in the EU can be made by train in under 6 hours. And pretty soon, a lot of them even less. Why are trains so important? Well, thank you for asking. Taking into account the combined CO2 emissions, trains emit an average of 5 times less CO2 than a plane on the same route. And if we take non-CO2 impact of air travel into account, the overall climate impact could be over 80 times worse than taking the train. So yeah, this is something that I am absolutely passionate about. And I was invited on this trip by the European Commission after getting some insight in the plans for the future railway systems of Europe. And I am so excited to share these plans with you now. Let's talk about what we can actually expect in the future. Because we're always talking about how trains need to be more accessible. And guys, it's actually happening. So if I am to paint you a word picture, imagine that you're boarding a train in snowy Finland and you're ending up under the sunny skies of Italy. That is the Scandinavian Mediterranean corridor, which is a huge route connecting the Arctic to the Mediterranean. I know. Right now across the EU, they're working on 2 mega projects. One is the Fehmarn Belt tunnel between Denmark and Germany and the Brenner-based tunnel through the Alps, which are both set to make travel faster and smoother. Speaking of faster and smoother, why aren't we seeing cup holders on Danish trains? Like, this is spectacular. Once the Fehmarn Belt link opens up, the journey from Copenhagen to Hamburg will take just 2.5 hours, and the journey from Copenhagen to Berlin will be reduced from 7 to 4 hours. And this is absolutely not just happening in Northern Europe. These plans are going to affect so many people all across Europe, and it's definitely creating a better and better case to ditch plane travel and just chill on the train. So after my work was done, I played Stardew Valley. Yeah, still obsessed. Look how big my farm has gotten. It's wild. I am sorry this is so deeply unserious, but now I have at least arrived in Stockholm. I literally just got to Stockholm and I'm already trying one of your recommendations because we kind of need to do this. We need to do this now. It has arrived. Yes. Of course, I had to find vegan Swedish meatballs, and oh boy, this was such a sturdy meal, which was honestly just what I needed after this trip. I was so hungry, my stomach was in pain, and this dish had everything to remedy that. Mashed potatoes, cream gravy, and these super thick plant-based meatballs absolutely hit the spot. I am finally well rested. I actually had a pretty decent hotel breakfast for once. They had vegan sausage, carrot cake that was vegan. Love to see it in this residential area, trying to find my way back into the city center of Stockholm, because we have an agenda today. We have to try at least 4 eating experiences. I feel like I need to find 4 things. I need to be selective because you guys sent me so many recommendations. So I'm gonna try to find 4 eating experiences. Then we're gonna find a museum of some kind. I already kind of know which one I want to go to. Then we need to find a grocery store because I love looking at grocery stores in other places. And again, first time in Stockholm, we need to go and see some landmarks and a vintage store. Oh, do we need a vintage store? An antique store maybe? We need both. Okay, we're gonna do both anyway. This is the agenda for today. I'm so excited to get started. Let's go. Okay, but this confuses me in the best possible way. That is a Viking ship and a Thai restaurant combined. I love this. No, more of this. More. I asked you guys for tips and recommendations for Stockholm, and the ones I'm not gonna get to, I'll link down below, by the way. And look at that, I'm already at my first recommendation. We are gonna go get a cake. This is Vete-Katten, a bakery franchise, and they have a vegan mousse cake and some baked goods, and we are definitely gonna have a taste. I ordered the raspberry mousse cake, and it was so nice. It had a brownie center, and it was just a really solid cake experience. Also really easy to make at home. Hello, toxic trait. But it did definitely inspire me to experiment more with these types of desserts because they are quite manageable to make vegan. On the opposite side of the street was a thrift store, and what caught my eye originally was the retro looking sign and font, but this place was just filled with the treasure. I wish I had more space in my suitcase. This little mirror piece, for instance, I'm honestly so sad I didn't bring it home. And this piece, which seems like an original coal drawing, was to die for. If I had found this remotely close to my home, I would 100% have gotten it. There were so many gems and a whole bunch of green glass, which you might know is one of my biggest weaknesses. I do not need more green glass, but here we are, buying more green glass. I know. This little guy was also calling my name, but I left him there, and yes, I am regretting that every single day of my life. Do you think I bought anything in the thrift store? Do you think? Do you think? You know the best thrift finds happens when you don't even look for a thrift store? Falls right into your lap. Because I didn't know that was there, and it was so good. Now I can see that there is a supermarket, grocery store nearby with tons of vegan stuff, so let's go and find it. This is the one. When I say this was an absolute heaven for a small town vegan like me, it is no joke. This store had everything. It was both really overwhelming and so fascinating. I was so jealous and I was also in awe. There was also this little cafe where I decided to get lunch while being really happy with my purchases, honestly. So many of the things I wanted to buy required cooling, of which I had none. So leaving this place without my bag just absolutely stuffed to the brim with vegan Christmas meat was an absolute tragedy. I am sorry, I am being dramatic. I'm really not though. I bought a bunch of chocolate that is otherwise really difficult to come by in Denmark, and when you find it, it's super expensive. But this was so manageable. And then I got vegan oyster sauce, which I assume will add insane amounts of umami to my dishes. I ordered the juicy marble steak with potato salad and some tarragon dressing for lunch, and it slapped. I actually had other lunch plans elsewhere in the city, but I decided to pass those up because I could not leave here without getting to taste something from their menu. This was so lovely, and I want to go back and have the rest of it. I have cooked with Juicy Marble products a lot. I use them in my beef Wellington. I serve them for Christmas. They have become a big go-to for me for bigger meals, especially with non-vegans, because they're always in disbelief that this is actually vegan. I love vegan meaty flavors. Okay. My camera roll is just footage of cute fonts and signs. I always take pictures of signs when I'm in a new city. They become like these souvenirs that don't cost anything, which is great. So I've been walking for ages and it started raining. I'm basically soaked at this point. Yeah, it's okay though. We are gonna go to a photographic museum and it's that way, but I have to go this way. So I'm wondering how to get down there. Nope. I found it. Okay, so when I made it to the museum, it was absolutely worth it because some of you guys recommended that I visit this modern photographic museum, Fotografiska. And I am so happy I went. This was so interesting and definitely worth the whole walking confused around in the rain thing. I usually go for more classic genres when I seek out museums, and this is exactly why it's good to get out of your comfort zone. I walked around in here for so long and I had the best time. Afterwards, I tried to take a bus back to my hotel, and this is how that went. I might as well come out and say it, but I am so lost. I thought I had it down with the buses, so I thought, why not freestyle? These buses are probably going to the same location. The name of the stop was the same, but it was not the same. So now I am outside of Stockholm, near a massive mall, and I have no idea how I'm gonna get back home. Okay, so I finally found the right bus. This was indeed humbling. I decided to go back into the city center to see if I could get a table at Aifur. This is a famous and kind of touristy place, but honestly, it was so much fun. Aifur is a Viking themed bar and restaurant, and the menu did not have anything vegan on it, but because some of you recommended to me, I decided to still have a peek. And I'm glad that I did. I just got a beer and then a glass of wine. It was basically lit only by candles in this restaurant, and the vibe was just so cozy. And now for what I can only assume is going to be a big disappointment on your end, because I realized that I was quite far away from the other restaurants I had my eyes on, except the place I got the Swedish meatballs yesterday. So I went back. I am sorry. I know this isn't as much fun for you, but I was tired and I didn't want to go back on another bus. I will say I loved the meatballs, but this burger was subpar. Sorry, the bun was cold and it was just very plain, but I was hungry and tired. So that's where we're at. So not to be dramatic or anything, but I truly think that arugula in a burger as the only form of greenery is an absolute crime. And now I'm going back home. I really want to come back to Stockholm someday because there's so many things I still want to see and do and eat. And luckily in the future, it will just keep getting easier to come here. Of course, you can find all the recommendations I got in the description below. So if you're visiting, make sure to check out those places. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much to the European Commission for sending me on this journey. Take really good care of yourselves until next time and let me know if there are any other places you would like to see me visit.